Yesterday, I posted this short. If you like building stuff in board games, then you gotta check out this game called Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. It's a really simple game because all you do on your turn is either visit the market to gather supplies like rocks and clay and logs, or you can visit the quarry in order to turn in those supplies and build parts of Cleopatra's brand new palace. If you wanna see the full video, I'll link it down below to like my Instagram, Shorts, TikTok, whichever platform you prefer, you can watch the full one on there. So I'm going to show you how to level up your videos just like that. Hello everyone and welcome back to Wolfpack Wednesday number 6 now. If you're watching this later down the line, please know that the last video I totally miscounted and said it was 4 when it was 5. Just to clear the surface, the area, the room, clear the room. Just to make it clear, this is episode number 6, where we are talking about how to level up your Instagram Reels, your YouTube Shorts, your overall short form content, your TikTok. Number 1, use an external recorder just like this. If you want to see my full audio setup, I'll go ahead and link it to that Wolfpack Wednesday right around there. But if you use an external audio, it sounds so much better, and also it gives your voice way much more body, and your voice just sounds really rich. Everyone loves good audio. No one's going to complain about having good audio when watching one of those shorts. On top of that, if you have like your phone, maybe it would really help if you like just record a voiceover on your phone and then plug it into your editing platform of choice afterwards. But overall, tip number 1, get some really good quality audio into your shorts. Now, speaking of sound, that leads us to tip number 2. One thing that I think so many board game content creators forget, and that is audio in terms of like sound pieces, like all that tactile stuff. For some reason, everyone just rips it out of the audio. Listen to the difference between with sound effect and without sound effect. Do you see that or hear that? It's so much more satisfying when you include those little sound effects, especially with cards. I think cards is the most satisfying thing. Like that, people want to hear that, and you want to make sure you include that into all your shorts as well. When you're recording all your shorts, especially on your phone, all that audio is already captured in the video itself. So don't like mute your original sound and keep it. That way everyone can hear all of the nice little sounds of all the components that you're showing off. Tip number 3, because you're making a video for a platform that is all designed around short attention span, then you want to make sure that you also keep your cuts pretty short as well. I tend to keep my cuts no longer than 3 seconds if I can. And reason why is because you want to hold people's attention. You also don't want to do quick cuts too, unless there's like a sequence. Like in the beginning, when you saw me laying out all the sphinxes, there are 6 of them. So that's why it shows them one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you hear all those sounds being overlaid over each other. So it makes it more satisfying and completed when you can see all the sphinxes laid out and all those sound effects lined up as well. So that's why when you're making board game content, it's always important to ask yourself, who's your audience and what platform are you making this for? Because a YouTube video is completely differently edited than an Instagram Reel. Instagram Reel, we're gonna keep the attention span pretty short. Overall, the video itself is very short, hence why it's called a short. Okay, number 4, expanding on those quick cuts, also change your angles. That's tip number 4. Change up your angles. Every time you switch between those 3-second cuts, make your angle different because you're also showcasing a different component. The angle that I use for the sphinxes is different from the angle that I used for the obelisks, which is also different from the angle that I used for showing off the mosaic tiles. So when you switch up your angles, it keeps all of your audiences engaged into your content, or at least it tries to attempt to keep their attention. This is why for number 4, a tripod is your best friend, because you can change angles and keep everything static while still making everything very interesting. All of the shots that were filmed in that short was all filmed with the tripod, with the exception of the intro shot, which I just used handheld and in slow motion, but everything else was in real time and shot on a tripod. But as long as you change your angle, shooting from like waist to like almost parallel distance, to one where you're showing like an overhead shot, to one where you're showing like a 45-degree angle, and you can mix it up. Just go all around your table and film different angles. And trust me, it will look way more interesting when you take the extra time to do just that. All right, that leads us to tip number 5, and that is to not forget to keep everything conversational. I know we always dive into all the technical stuff and filming angles and camera equipment and what to use for which instance, but it's always important to remember that, especially for these platforms, a lot of people are like getting out of work, they're trying to unwind, And for me, like especially me, I always like to just turn my brain off and just kind of scroll through things mindlessly when I'm going through social media at the end of the day. So for that point, I feel like what keeps my own attention is when everyone keeps the dialogue overall very conversational, because it's super easy to get lost in all of like the board game jargon and talking about different mechanics and stuff. That right there keeps dialogue more conversational and more relatable overall. If you make short form content, first off, props to you, okay? Because I know it's not easy and I know it takes forever for something that is so seemingly simple. It took me like 4 hours or 3 hours actually to film all this for a 30-second YouTube short. And like I do it all the time, but I get you, okay? And I see you and I respect all the work that you do. So first off, just know that I appreciate you and all the work that you put in. And secondly, I believe in you. We're all in this together. And I hope you found this video helpful in some way to level up your own short form content. So with that said, if you made it here to the very, very end of the video, comment Cleopatra for this game that we showcased yesterday with this beautiful gold foil box. Very, very overproduced game. Makes me definitely want to try out Foundations of Rome now that I'm diving back into a classic game that I covered on my channel, I think back in 2018, 2019. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching and have an amazing Wednesday.